We have the first of a new trilogy of Star Wars novels taking place after the Battle of Endor. We have the final issue of Vader Dark Visions. Plus, we have some news coming out of E3 for Star Wars gaming all this week on Star Wars Weekly. Hello everybody, my name is Starrapter and welcome to the channel. If you're new, welcome. I talk about Star Wars content that relates to the comics, novels, TV series, video games, and more on a weekly basis. So jumping right into things, we have a huge release. This is Star Wars Alphabet Squadron, written by Alexander Freed. This is the first of a brand new trilogy of novels that focuses on the group of Alphabet Squadron. They are a ragtag of New Republic soldiers that all fly different variations of ships: A-Wings, B-Wings, Y-Wings, X-Wings, U-Wings, all those. And they are on this mission to hunt down the group of Shadow Wing, this Imperial Remnant group that even though the Emperor is dead, they continue to fight. So this is before the events of the Battle of Jakku, so it takes us into the mindset of what is going on in the galaxy at large. You have a lot of Imperials defecting. You have a lot of people, gathering up to fight this threat that still lingers. So I have tons of content relating to Alphabet Squadron. I have my spoiler-free review. I have a spoilers recap. I have a kind of video about the Alphabet Squadron members themselves. So make sure you go ahead, if that sounds interesting to you, check out those videos on the channel right now. Next up, we have the final issue of Vader Dark Visions. So this one is all about this bartender who has received intel from this rebel spy. And well, next thing you know, Darth Vader is knocking down the door asking, we're not even asking. He's just demanding that they get this data that he is looking for. So this is all about from the perspective of this bartender who on this planet goes through sort of paranoia, and he's always looking over his shoulder trying to get away from Vader. Vader is hunting him down. So this comic really speaks to me for what the premise of this entire miniseries has, or should have been, because there's been a couple missteps in my opinion for like episode or issues 4, issues 3. Each one of these issues is supposed to deal with how people react to Vader. There's a person who reacted to Vader in the very first issue thinking he was a hero. The next issue was Imperial thinking that, this guy is after me. He was also paranoid, running his ship to its own destruction. Then you had issue number 3 that was all about the character of this female who was obsessed with Vader, had a very unique fascination with him. And then issue number 4, last month's issue, which I thought was kind of a miss because it dealt with an X-Wing pilot and he couldn't pull the trigger on Vader. So this issue really encapsulates what I expected to be the potential of Vader Dark Visions, where you have this character, this guy who is just going nuts trying to run away from Vader. He is terrified. He doesn't know who Darth Vader really is, but he sees that he is basically a monster slaying everybody in that bar, and he is trying to get out of there. And even at the end of this issue, Vader sees how, incompetent, and sees how, just this guy has lost it. He's lost all brain function, and Vader actually lets him live because he figured, I guess, at this point that, hey, I have the data. This guy's pretty much just going to end up committing suicide maybe, or just living out a life of a torturous paranoia throughout the rest of his life is worse than, I guess, death for him. So that was pretty cool, seeing the amount that somebody would go through to try to get out of, reach of Vader and end up just being in the condition this guy is. Another thing I enjoyed about this issue was the fact that they mentioned Black Squadron, which is actually Poe Dameron's squadron's name in a further away era of Star Wars. We're talking like 30 years into the future. So I don't know if Black Squadron was a reference that, back in this day, Poe Dameron heard of Black Squadron and delivering this intel, and hey, maybe they wanted to celebrate that squadron's call sign, but it could just be very generic because we have, Gold Squadron, we have Red Squadron, Blue Squadron already, so whatever, probably no connection, but I thought that was interesting nonetheless. Moving into E3, huge year for Star Wars. We had the official gameplay reveal for Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, and to me, I loved it. It's basically Metroidvania mixed with Dark Souls combat, so there's going to be a lot of non-linear, going back to different planets, trying to get past further into the story by getting different upgrades for DB1, who is your companion droid. The combat looks slick, the exploration looks great, there's awesome platforming elements, the use of the Force feels very powerful and impactful. So I'm really looking forward to this game. I have lots of content on the game right now. I have a breakdown of the gameplay trailer. I have another video that's about like the gameplay variety and how that's going to factor in. So definitely check out that content. But that wasn't the only game that was announced at E3. We also had Lego Star Wars, the Skywalker Saga. That totally took me by surprise. It was announced during the Microsoft E3 press briefing, and yeah, they didn't really show us any gameplay. It was just kind of a cinematic of different lightsaber battles throughout the years, because you're going to be able to play through all 9 Star Wars movies. It's insane. You're going to be able to kind of go between whatever movie you want. If you wanted to start with Rise of Skywalker content, you could do that, or you can just go through sequential episodic order that way. It also seems like from behind closed door playthroughs I've heard from online that there is an aspect in a way of open world type of content, and there's like over 200 minifigures. So this game is going to be really cool. That is out in 2020. Moving on to my question of the week. This one comes to me on Twitter from James M, the crazy gamer historian at Robin McCormick. Often comments on the channel, very much appreciated. He's asking me, hashtag Star Wars Weekly, is it a good idea to do movie adaptations of old Star Wars stories, since a Knights of the Old Republic movie is rumored to be in the works? So, yeah, I mean, there's plenty of stories, put it this way, that I would love to see brought into actual, like, live action from a canon point of view. Some stories I would say is the Darth Bane trilogy for sure. We would maybe get a Darth Plagueis story, Kenobi story. So lots of stories, but then in the same token, I'm also thinking like there's so much room for original storytelling, and that we can kind of use elements, and I think they're doing that in the canon, using elements from other legend stories and making them canon in a way abstractly, because they're pulling from certain elements. So while I like the characters of Revan and Darth Malak from Knights of the Republic, I would like to see the story, if they were going to use those characters, do a completely different story, or a story for those of us that have actually experienced the original story to still have some surprises, to still have some things that we didn't see coming, because they're going to, tweak the story in a way. So I think I would enjoy adaptations as long as they aren't like word for word adaptations and they do have some differences between the actual source material. So if you guys want to get your questions in, it's very simple. You can use hashtag Star Wars Weekly. You can either comment down on this specific video, or you can go ahead and tweet at Starrapter using hashtag Star Wars Weekly. Any Star Wars question is always open, so make sure you do that if you want to have your questions answered. So next week we can look forward to Dr. Aphra issue number 33, Star Wars issue number 67, which is a huge landmark issue because it is the last issue that Kieran Gillen will write, and 68 will start off with Greg Pak and Phil Noto as the artist. And we also have TIE Fighter issue number 3 coming out, which also interlinks with Alphabet Squadron. So what do you guys think of this week's releases? How much are you looking forward to reading Alphabet Squadron? I really love that book. And what do you think of the E3 announcements? What are you excited for? Jedi Fallen Order, Lego Star Wars? Let's talk about it all in the comment section below. Guys, if you're new to the channel, welcome. I talk a lot about Star Wars. Like I mentioned earlier in the video, I have tons of content that relates to Alphabet Squadron as well as Jedi Fallen Order, and I will continue to put out more Jedi Fallen Order content. So if you're really looking forward to that game, make sure you are subscribed to the channel so you never miss another video. That is going to do it for me, Starrapter. Thank you so much for watching, and may the Force be with you always. Thanks for checking out the video. Please hit that thumbs up symbol. It helps me know that I'm making content that you guys enjoy. And if you enjoyed this video, I also include 2 videos down below you guys should check out. And please consider subscribing to this channel. It helps support me, and it notifies you guys of when I get new videos up on the channel. You can also contact me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Starrapter.